Hi, Sam.
Hi, André. How you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good. Not too bad.
This is another first for us, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Our studio has changed in its appearance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we got tired of the inconsistent theme that I had. Like, I couldn't decide whether it is, Japanese dojo's theme or a British Railway theme, so we just changed it up.
Absolutely. Or you just didn't clean your living room.
Yeah, that's that too. Yes.
Probably it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here with Dean from Workwear Village, and before we start, I just want to address something really quickly. Quick disclaimer: this is not by any means a paid promotion. Sam, myself, and Dean, we all part of Visit Horsham, which is a great group that if you aren't aware of, you can go and check it out. We'll leave the links down below. So yeah, it's definitely not a paid promotion. And if you want to learn more about Dean and what he does, we'll also leave his website down below. And with that said, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yes, really good.
Excellent. And just as another disclaimer, this isn't my messy living room. This is actually the Workwear Village studio, which is really messy, Dean. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's because I'm always busy. I don't get time to clean
something.
Yeah. So that is our location today. But yeah, so Dean, tell us a little bit about what is it that got you into Workwear Village? What actually tell us your journey getting there. I think that's what we really like to hear.
So. Yes, it's a long story, I suppose. I left school in 97, didn't really know what I wanted to do. My plan was to join the army. That never happened, got an apprenticeship, then got made redundant from that and was in and out of jobs for a couple of years. And then someone I knew was like, I need a hand doing some decorating. Can you come and do that? And did that for it'll be 25 years now. And I just... few years ago looking for a bit of a change, something different to do. 25 years in one job's quite a long time. And decorating's great, but it's the same constantly. Looked around for a bit of what I could do, and then something popped up. I can't remember if it was YouTube or Instagram or whatever, and I was like, that looks quite interesting. So I did my research, looked at maybe doing it at home, looked at prices of machines, and I was like, my goodness, they're quite expensive. Cheap machines, probably $4 or $5 grand, and then you've got software and all the other stuff to go with it. So I decided to look into buying a business. So back in 2021, found a business up for sale, ended up purchasing it in 2022, and that's how we got to it. And I love it. I really enjoy doing it. It's different to decorating, but it's been a challenge.
Fantastic. So then it's been going 3 years then, right?
It'll be 3 years in November.
3 years in November. So how has that been? How has that 3 years been? So from buying the business to kind of where you are now, because it kind of just been great. I've got it now. Everything's sorted. Everything's smooth sailing. And maybe it was. No.
It's been really hard work, to be fair.
Sure.
Yeah, trying to get new clients in. Taking over a business. They had clients, didn't all come back and use me, so lost a few. And then obviously as well, we moved because we were based down in Worthing. We moved up to Horsham, obviously more local to where I am, so it's easier to get to. But it has been a big challenge, a big learning curve. I've had to do, learn the machines, learn how to do stuff. I've added more to the business. So when I bought the business, it was literally just embroidery. Now I do printing and on clothes and stuff. So it has been a challenge, and trying to get new clients in all the time is hard work.
What do you think? I mean, maybe there isn't an easy answer to this, but what do you think that challenge is, or is it as easy as saying the challenge is this, or is it quite complicated?
I don't know. People don't tend to change their suppliers.
Sure.
Schools are a big one like that. I mean, that's could be a great source of work, but they once they've got a supplier, they don't really want to change, even though we could probably do them a better deal. They just they've got a supplier, which I get. It's everyone's got who they use for everything really. Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah,
and I think just to zoom out a little, there's also so many places online, which is a great thing, but also a bit of a shame, because I feel that it's very what they provide is quite diluted. Which when you take in consideration that you are based in Horsham, you're just across by the railway station. Yeah. I think for someone local to just think and to just be able to, oh, you know what, I'll just pop to Workwear Village and we'll just, be able to collect my hoodies like I did the other day.
Exactly,
it's just, there's so much more to that, and the value in that, it's so much higher than you being able to scroll through a browser online and just choose your package that way.
Yeah.
And you just never know what you're going to get, I think.
Yeah, so when we took over the business, we used to have a Shopify. So obviously people could just go online and buy. And then after about 6 months, I decided that we needed to be different from everyone else. So we haven't got a Shopify website anymore. We've got all our products are on there, but we want people to be able to come in and, go, oh, I like this top. Can you get a sample? Yep, we can get a sample. Come in, you can try it on. We can do all that. We want to be different from the online suppliers. We don't want to be the same, because obviously you buy a top online, you don't know the quality. You might know the name, but you don't really know if it's going to fit or anything like that. You don't know what the logo is going to come out like. So we're trying to be a bit different, trying to, let people decide what they want, try and give them advice. And obviously we have got another website, a back end where people can, once they've ordered stuff, they all gets uploaded onto there, so they can then just rebuy it. They don't have to constantly email. But we want to have that interaction with the customers first. We don't want them to just be going online and buying stuff blind.
That's the thing. It's so important, I think. But you do, that's the thing, you do, because obviously I have used Workwear before. Like your website is really, really comprehensive.
Yeah.
And someone, you go through it and there's tons of stuff. So you'll definitely find something for anyone, or everyone can find something there. You do have that, basically that selection of items. And then obviously if you then provide an option for people to come and sample it and come and actually see it in store and stuff, I think that makes such a difference to be able to actually come and see that. Which I don't think many online or any online services like yours provide that.
I say we just want it to be different, just try and stand out a little bit. Because obviously there is makes that used to be really good that aren't as good anymore. People, obviously, if they haven't bought stuff for 10 years, go, oh, I like that top because I had it 10 years ago. Doesn't mean it's going to be good now and what they want and what's fit for them to use at work. So, just trying to be different, really.
Something that really resonates with that is... you mentioned about having people have their preferred suppliers, or just, I've got that sorted now, I don't need to think about it, it just happens, whether it's for dance groups or schools or whatever. But I had this issue recently where I had to refresh my business cards. So I went to actually a local supplier rather than what I did before, which was to go to a big online space. And I did the whole big online space because it was just easier. Like, it just kind of made sense because I knew I needed business cards. It's just something I had to have. And so I did it. And then only on getting the more locally sourced business cards did I sort of realize, not only was the process of doing that a lot more, shall we say, confidence inspiring, and also the products I got at the end was, oh my God, what have I been giving to people? Why have I been giving people my old business cards? Because these are just... they represent me a lot better. And I think that with things I've seen of yours, Dean, there is that real attention to quality that you put into it. And that difference people don't necessarily appreciate until they either have lost it or they see it for the first time. And that's, how do we get that across? So that would be, even for all of us, right? Even when we're thinking about my photography, your videography, how do we get that difference of, what passion we plow into what we're doing? How do we get that across? That's a real challenge if someone isn't coming in and necessarily kind of feeling it in their hands. Or seeing it in front of them. But it's so important to consider these things.
Absolutely, I completely agree. But I think like every business owner, and you've probably been through the same for sure, is at the beginning, because there's so many different moving parts. You kind of just want to do the easiest thing. And you just assume that just because some online company is bigger and has all this stuff online for you to choose from, that's going to be an easier process. Turns out it isn't. No. And I think it's just about awareness. I think it's about just showcasing what we have locally, because, times are difficult for everyone. Everyone, there are businesses out there that are doing extremely well, but I think most people nowadays are trying their best to get as much work as they can. So if you can find someone local, and this is for you, this is for everyone. I think as a community, especially where you live, where your business is located, if you can find a group of business owners that can support each other, and someone can provide business cards, someone can provide outfits or workwear, someone can provide photography services. I think it makes so much sense to then build that community up rather than try and outsource things. That makes no sense in my head, because let's say a different instance, you find a different service provider somewhere else. You want to arrange a meeting, you want to go for a coffee, you just want to have a chat over the polos I ordered the other day. We could just say, oh, do you mind, let's catch up over a coffee and just talk about what I really need and what I want and what I'm going to be wearing them for. And I think that makes a big difference, because when you go to these websites online, everything is just very generic, isn't it? Everything is just the same. It's just to meet the needs of the greater audience. Whilst if you are a small business owner, especially nowadays where everyone's trying to compete, everyone's trying to become almost very identical. So I think business owners are now trying to, find little things here and there that can help them differentiate themselves from other business owners. Definitely. And you know what? If it comes down to, the polos I wear are produced, are sourced locally from someone I actually know and know really well, I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's also about, local's amazing. Everyone should be using local services, because it's, you order from online and it could take 5 or 6 days and you need it in a rush as well. Like the amount of times I get people come in, I really need a polo, I've got this or I've got that coming up.
Guilty.
Yeah. But it is, but I don't mind doing it and helping. I've got one on the machines at the moment that's got to be done by the 15th because they're doing the 3 Peaks challenge. I've got to have it done. I only got the order on Wednesday, but I'll get it done because they want it, and I want to help people. It's just about helping people.
Absolutely.
So go on then. What's the craziest turnaround you've had to deal with?
Don't say mine.
No. So I had an order come in on a Thursday and it had to be done by the Monday. So I had to special order the items in to get next day AM delivery, and then I did them on the Saturday and delivered them on the Saturday afternoon.
And what sort of thing was it?
It was just some polos, just for a company that had an event coming up on the Monday.
Yeah. So it's more just the logistics of the turnaround rather than...
because obviously we don't keep stock in. We keep a little bit, but we don't... Obviously catalogues, they've got thousands, hundreds of thousands of items, so we can't keep, one polo shirt's probably got 10 colours with, 10 different sizes. So I can't keep everything in stock, but we can get next day, so we can turn around quite quick, and it just depends on the person ordering if they can send their logo over quick and we can get it, made up into an embroidery file. So we can turn around quite quick. Obviously, our normal time is 5 to 10 working days, because obviously we have to have that time to do the design and make sure it's correct and colours isn't, if it's a complex design, we have to make sure the colours are correct, because obviously there's hundreds of colours as well, different shades of everything. Correct, so it is making sure everything's correct for them. But we can turn around in 2 or 3 days, if we need to. And we don't charge extra for that, which obviously if you go online, they do charge extra.
Yes.
We just like to help people and get stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, I've been quite privileged to obviously I've worked and I've had stuff from you, and the turnaround was so quick. Obviously, when you said, "Oh, is there any particular colours?" and I was like, "Oh yeah, I wonder if you could do this exact hex code."
I mean, to be fair, we can match quite a lot of colours. If we've got a Pantone colour, we can match them. So we can get the embroidery threads, pretty much
really cool.
Close. Yeah, I mean, we've had a customer in the past who wants specific colour tops, and they've given me the colour. Unfortunately, they can't always get their tops if you're ordering smaller quantities. We can get tops in any colour, and you can have them matched to whatever colour you want, but you're looking at 50, 100 tops. As a minimum, so
of course.
People don't obviously want that many.
Also, André, I've seen that polo. It's just black, mate. What are you talking about?
It was a specific shade of black, actually.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah.
It's called Midnight.
That was the point you were making, right? Yes, lots of different shades.
But no, what my point was that you've turned that around so quickly. I think we spoke on a Thursday, and I came and collected on the Saturday.
Yeah.
That was impressive. For an event I had on Monday.
Yeah.
So perhaps... But it was so quick, and the fact that we can just pop in through the door and just say hi and have a quick chat. I think that level of of just. It's not personality. It's more. It's a personal, bespoke service, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can come down to the door and just talk to you. And I think that makes a world of a difference.
Yeah, you can't park here though. Jesus, Dean.
I know, it's a bit of a nightmare. I'm all right. I've got a parking space. So.
Sam is very bitter about this.
I've had a couple of customers in the past where I've done their logos and I've sent them a picture of it because obviously I test every logo first to make sure it sews correctly and the colours are right. And then they've gone, oh no, I'm not sure about that colour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, just pop in. I'm open. I'm here now. Come in and you can see all the colours. And if we've not got a colour, we can order a colour you like. So there is that as well where you can pop in and have a look at stuff when it's being done. And I've had a customer come in. Blimey, I can't remember when it was quite a while ago, and they were like, oh, do you mind if I come in and actually see it being done? I'm like, no, come in. They filmed it, and that's great because they can then use it for their website and their social media.
Oh, brilliant!
So don't mind that at all.
Absolutely,
fantastic.
Again,
well, yes, proof's in the pudding. Hence, we're here with multiple cameras and
that's it. And it's nice that you've got everything on display.
Yeah.
Like when I came in and collected the polos and then saw the machinery, it just gives you that authenticity feel, which I think we really need to start being able to portray that, because authenticity is going to be the key going forward for business owners. I think that's so important. Who cares about the online stores? Yes, they're convenient. Yes, but you know what? There's someone out there doing it with their machines in a unit in your local town. Just go and see it.
Yeah.
Just go and have a chat. There's nothing wrong with just having a quick chat and seeing, and they'll find out actually the price difference is not that, sometimes it's even, it's minimal, if at all any. And it's definitely just worth checking it out. And I feel like people just nowadays are just so used to just going to the browsers and start typing this and that and just ordering. It's like, no, just do a little bit more research. It's worth it.
I guess the other thing is, Dean, you don't just do, on that topic, I guess, you don't just do stuff for businesses or big orders. We kind of hinted at it already, but you do things for individuals having a birthday party, and they just need one or two items or something bespoke, right?
Yeah, we can do anything.
So what's the kind of most fun thing you've done then, or the most complicated, or both?
So I got a client who does like vintage do's.
Okay.
And her name's Dawn, and her company's Dawn's Vintage Do's, and she come in with a design. And I was a bit worried because it's quite a complex design, and I did it all, and she wanted it on jackets, so we did a test jacket for her first, and she was over the moon, and she had ordered 20 jackets.
Wow.
But the sew out for the back was 2 hours 20. So one jacket took 2 hours 20. But obviously with the machines, I can do 6 at once. So actually, I was getting through them quite quick. But yeah, that was probably the most challenging one.
Was it a very just elaborate design?
It had quite a lot to it, and it was obviously quite big as well. So for a back, so yeah, it did take quite a while. But it was nice to do, actually. It was nice watching it, and there's videos on my Instagram of it being done, so yeah, it's
fantastic.
It's so mesmerizing just watching it like go up and down. It's one of those things I just sit there, I was like, it's been 10 minutes, I just watched like 5 videos of like a needle just
and you say that, and I do the same here, and I'm like, I've got emails to send, but I just literally stand and watch. And I'm like, blimey, it's at home time now.
Oops, yes.
When I first started, I used to, my wife used to ring me at like 9, 10 o'clock at night and be like, are you coming home tonight? I'm like, sorry, I'm just so busy. I just watching. Do.
I thought the whole point was to be automated, Dean. Why? You lied to me.
You're doing it by hand.
Exactly.
Crikey. But yeah, I suppose that's a good segue to, because you did mention it before, that how many can you do in one? Like, there was quite an incredible amount of pieces you could do.
Yes, we can do 6 at once. So, and it obviously depends on how long they take to sew. So, I've got a client who, in the past, has ordered 800 items, and because their sew out time for their logo is only 13 minutes a top, and it's only front logos, we knocked them out in about a week, maybe less than a week. So we can turn around, but then obviously 2.5 hours. You're time restricted on how long these pieces take. Yeah. Some on the machine at the moment, they're only taking about 20-25 minutes. So you can do 6 at once. So you can get through them quite quick.
And obviously, we talked about the embroidery, but you do offer other services.
So we can we do direct to garment DTFs, so printed clothing. So if you don't, some logos you can't embroider because they're too complex, or they want cheaper stuff. So we offer that as well.
Okay, so just to go completely off topic, because why not? Dean, I'm pretty sure I heard you tell a story to us once about how you've lived every teenage musician's fantasy and played at the Royal Albert Hall. Is that true?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, so
cool. Well, guys, we're done. So, right, this fraud.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Did you not know that? No. Oh, yeah. So my dad used to be in a Boys Brigade band, a marching Boys Brigade band, years and years ago. My brother joined, my sister joined, and then because being the youngest of three, I then joined. And then we moved on to another band in Red Hill, a marching band. I joined there, I think, when I was 9. And yeah, we used to, learn clarinet to start with, and then decided that wasn't for me. And I moved on to drums, like every boy does. Loves to hit things and make a lot of noise. And yeah, we used to do competitions around the country, and one of the competitions was at the Albert Hall, and I must have been about 14, and I was the only drummer. So it was me and a bass drummer. And I ended up having to play a drum solo at the Royal Albert Hall. And because I was the only one, they ended up putting spotlights on me. And and it was like 2 or 3 minutes long. And that's one thing that sticks out, And
how can you sit there and say, I'm very concerned about this podcast,
but when you're playing, you're not thinking about stuff. You just know what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, I've done stuff, from joining a band that I would never have done, and I met my wife in the band. My kids are now in the band, and I'm there teaching the younger kids. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I've done so much stuff that I would never have done. I mean, my wife, every time someone mentions the Albert Hall and I bring it up, my wife's like, not again. I've probably heard this story about 1,000 times. And I'm like, yeah, but for me, it's amazing. I've played there.
I would literally tell everybody every single time I met them.
Any conversation.
Doesn't matter. It's like, what coffee would you like? So yeah, let me tell you about the time that I was saying about, is it a cappuccino? I was like, no, let me finish. Right. So that was incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What an amazing experience. But also just the band stuff that you do.
Yes.
That's also a really special thing to keep doing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love it. I probably did as a teenager and probably didn't want to go because obviously it's not cool when you're younger.
We're all there, right? Yes.
But, now looking back, I've just done so much stuff that I would never have done, I mean, we still go up to Birmingham every February and we play at the Birmingham Tattoo, and I'm now, we join up with 6 other youth bands in the country and we all meet there and we do it. And I'm, got the great privilege 10 years ago to take over as the senior drum major, so I stand out the front, march the band off, and and it's great. And my kids are in it now, and my boy, plays trombone, and he loves going there because it's such a different event. You're playing in front of 10,000 people. Well, probably not that many, but it feels like 10,000. But there is the arena's packed, and it's great seeing these kids get the opportunities to do these things, because doing it from a young age myself and not really thinking about it. Now looking back, you're like, actually, this is what an opportunity. I've played all around Europe. We played in Strasbourg. I've played in Holland. I've played in Lake Garda right on the lake. Amazing stuff that I would never have done.
So we're going to have to retitle. We are going to have to retitle this podcast. We said it was going to be episode 5. Dean Workwear Village. What do we call it now? Dean musician extraordinaire.
That's it.
Yes. Yes.
But music's great. It's I can't get enough of it. I love it. I'm out a lot playing.
So what else do you do? So it's drums you mentioned.
So I played drums, and then about 12 years ago I decided, maybe it's about time I had a change.
What goes on in the mind of Dean Ongley here? It's just like one day he wakes up, do you know what? I'll just buy a business. Yeah. I'll just change track from drums just because.
I'm a person, as much as I could sit on the sofa for a week, I can't do it. I would, but I've got to be out doing stuff, So about 12 years ago I decided, I've got a few friends, I've got mates who I grew up in the marching band with who all play brass instruments, and one of my friends who was a drummer with us, she went on and played trombone. She's like, well, I can teach you. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I could be able to do this. So I started playing tuba.
What?
So
wait, hang on a second. I'm not sure I could do trombone, but tuba. Just that's a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
So I played that for a couple of years. Then I was like, I mean, my dad played cornet, and I know a lot of cornet players. I've got a few friends who are, amazing cornet players. And I was like, well, it can't be that hard to change from tuba to cornet.
Okay, fair enough. I can sort of see the logic there.
I was very wrong.
Okay.
I was very wrong.
There you go.
It's been a challenge, but I love it. I like, I still have lessons. I go and see someone over in Rich Cross who plays in all the London shows, and he teaches me, and I love it. Yeah, and I play in a brass band as well now. So I'm out quite a lot of nights a week playing.
Brilliant. So I guess then the ultimate question here, right? So to tie this all together is: does your band use Workwear Village for their clothes?
They do, yes.
Ooh!
Yes.
Dean's winning at life, guys. That's it. He's got it nailed. Formula.
And being in a band, I've now decided that I could, supply other bands. So I have supplied a few other bands with stuff, because obviously they got to get that stuff from somewhere. So so we can help bands. Yeah.
So that's really cool, man. Like I love how that connection works.
Incredible.
That gives it a real warm feel to it. So it's not just, which is, I guess, one of the things we've been saying all along today, which is it's not just about sitting here with these machines. It's about the passion that comes from a much deeper place.
Yeah.
And tying it to a much deeper place. I love that. That's incredible.
I'm out for words. I'm just like, sorry, this just such a big twist for me.
And I'll just stress, I don't know if people know this, but our podcasts are entirely unscripted. I hold my hands to my heart and say they are entirely unscripted. We literally came here, set all this stuff up, and we said to Dean, hey, so what are we actually talking about today? That's literally what happened. So how this arc came to be, unreal. But that just shows you, if we unscript it, if we just chat to people in the way that is just really authentic to them, this is what comes out. I love
exactly.
that. I love that.
Absolutely. And I think that, this is one of the things that we always say to people, because people, we've had now the privilege of having a few people involved now, which is really, really good, because it makes a big difference. And it's lovely to be able to talk about local businesses like we are today. And people are always very concerned about, but I must script this and I must say that, and actually it's through these conversations that I think the authenticity comes out naturally, and it really makes people relate to the person we're talking to, because I think at the end of the day that's the most important thing to be doing here, and I suppose our goal here is to just make or demystify these businesses that if you go and search on a web page, it just names. Actually, there's a person behind that name, and that person is local to you, might even be your neighbor, and it's really good when you can find a lot about them that you otherwise just wouldn't know.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
And there's stories everywhere, man. And we talked about using local suppliers versus online, but there'll be big stories behind the online places too.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the universality comes in, which makes this kind of thing really special to me personally. But yeah, I love that little story arc. That was good.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to take it from here. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, if people want to find out more about you, where can they go?
Yeah, so obviously my website, workwearvillage.com, or Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. There's a lot of stuff on there. A YouTube channel where you can see stuff. So
excellent.
Is there anything you want to do? A piece of clothing?
Yeah, well, clarify this, André.
Piece of clothing.
No, I'll pretty much try anything. I've had people come in with socks.
Nice.
To put their initials on. I've not had anywhere with pants yet, so that might be the next one.
That's what I was going with.
Okay, well, I'll just cancel that draft email then, Dean. Yeah, okay.
But one of my suppliers does supply pants, so you can, But yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of different stuff,
Excellent.
and it's about people can have their logos in different places. Don't just have to have them in the same place. I've had, I dropped an iron off on Friday, and they had the back of the collar embroidered, which is different, and it's a challenge for me because it's somewhere you don't do it constantly, so you have to make sure that it's centered. But yeah, I mean the placement now, there's you can put it pretty much anywhere you like.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So then the question that we ask everybody at some stage is, where do you see Workwear Village going? What's your ambition with it? Or
so my ambition with it is to be full time. So obviously I still decorate 5 days a week, and then I do this evenings and weekends. So my ambition is to get it full time. Just get more work in, help more people out. It's just building up clients, really.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Dean, it's been like an amazing chat,
been incredible.
And I've just hearing the stories behind the man himself just makes it all connect, which is brilliant.
That's been great.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
for coming on.
Yeah, thank you
for obviously sort of listening. it's nice to be out and about, for the first podcast out of the studio.
That's true. Yes,
It's really
good
nice
first experience. Yes,
absolutely.
I mean, there'll be many more, but not too many more because this was a hassle, right?
It really wasn't.
I mean, for me, I just sat in the place. No, it was good fun. It was good fun.
But then again, I suppose another shout out is that obviously if you are a business owner or anyone really, Horsham based or West Sussex based, or even further if you fancy travelling, feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to have you on board and to just talk to you and have a chat.
Absolutely, man. Anyone with a story, 100%.
Right. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Well, thank
we'll
you.
See you in the
That's
next
been
one.
great.